Free love. I've been together with the love of my life for 10 years, married for 8, with a lovely 6-year-old daughter. We have been lucky enough that I was able to support us all so my wife could stay home with the kids. A mutual agreement for the benefit of our daughter. Now that she is in elementary school, my wife has gone back to work to resurrect her career, which I thoroughly encouraged because she was becoming a bit of a shut-in and needed more interaction with others. It's now 1 year into me working days at home and her working swings. I've been unsatisfied with how our work schedules keep us apart. We see each other a couple hours a day top. She gets home late, 1 to 2 a.m., and still needs time to wind down. I try and stay up to spend time with her, but am exhausted at that point and have to go to bed without her. She joins me anywhere between 3 and 6 a.m. Then I get up at 7, fix kids' lunch, take her to school, pick her up from school, and then make lunch for my wife as she gets up and gets ready. All of this during my work hours. At home, wife leaves for work. I make and have dinner with my little girl, do activities, homework, bath time and bedtime. Then I clean and try to get a nap in before wife gets home. Repeat. I've tried not to complain because I saw it as role reversal and she took good care of both of us while a stay-at-home mom. But I can't understand why she can't go to bed with me, or at least earlier, and wake herself up to at least see her daughter off to school, or get up early enough to help out by picking her up. Meanwhile, I'm neglecting work, pushing back conference calls, so I can see my daughter to and from school. We've talked about it and she just says she can't fall asleep any earlier, and I feel resentment because of this. But we've made it work. Now lately she'll come home, drink too much, and lash out me, angrily and very ugly, but conveniently doesn't remember saying nasty things to me. I have to explain in the morning why I'm upset. We had a small argument about the neighbor's dogs barking too much. I stepped out onto the back patio and she locked me out, flipped me off, and went to bed, leaving me to sleep on the patio all night. After I finally got her to wake up by ringing the doorbell 1,000 times and waking my daughter first, she then lets me in and doesn't remember. Now she's made friends at work and they go out for a few drinks after work once a week, which is fine. She needs social interaction. Everyone does. But one night after texting me to say she's going to hang with the crew, she doesn't come home. Misses her daughter's award ceremony at school. Gets home at noon and says she fell asleep watching movies with friends. No other info. I pry. Turns out she slept at a male coworker's house. I pry more. Turns out her girlfriend went home, but she didn't. This was the night after she locked me out. I felt hurt, betrayed, lied to, and disappointed. I told her I was expecting at least some sort of gesture that she was sorry for locking me out. Being the nice guy I am, I had bought her flowers to show that I can overcome the anger I felt. But what do I get? Her overnight at some guy's house. She then tells me she thinks she got married too young. But there is no affair and I have nothing to worry about. I ask if she still even wants me around. I don't know. We go through a rough couple day and she have a long talk with her grandmother, who was married many times but is now in a decades-long marriage. It gave her some perspective and she says she wants to make it work. I told her I'm completely uncomfortable with her staying over at a man's house, especially when I don't know. She agrees it was a crappy thing to do and promises it won't happen again. Things are good for almost 2 weeks. Love and intimacy, cuddling, favors for each other. Then I get another text that she's going out for a couple beers after work. No other info offered. I text okay and go to bed. Once again, I wake up alone. She comes in and acts like nothing happened. I tell her I'm upset, most of all because she isn't being honest and she broke her promise less than 2 weeks into fixing things. She says she didn't think it was a big deal. This has me worried that at the very least she is having an with this guy. So, I look up her phone bill. Never have I done this before and I never would have absented her breaking her promise. And so soon. In the last month there have been 50 texts to me, 100 to her girlfriend, and 400 to this guy. She sees me snooping into her phone bill as a violation of trust but still won't admit she did anything wrong. I look at the records in more depth. She texts him before work, during work, after work, from home after I go to bed, and on weekends. She was texting him the whole day we were having a heart-to-heart about our marriage. I ask if she still loves me. She says yes. I ask if she wants to split. She says, I don't know. I ask how she could disrespect our marriage by breaking her promise. I don't know. I ask her what she would do if the situation were reversed. I don't know. When I asked her to marry me, she said hell yes. I asked her if she was still hell yes wife. I don't know. I tell her that our marriage won't work if she is not 100% committed. I don't know. She says she needs time to figure that out. For me, it's a no-brainer. I love this woman, madly and deeply, but I want my hell yeah wife back. The way I see it, I don't know is not 100%, and therefore means no. Now we are getting ready for a trial separation. She's moving into an apartment and will have daughter on the weekends. Next up, coming up with terms and boundaries. To clarify, second time she was out all night she was with the same guy, and again stayed all night even though her girlfriend went home. Again, I had to pry for each bit of info. I told her that even if she is just watching movies with this guy, it still is not okay because she is not being upfront with me. She is lying by omission. She is repeating behavior that she knows hurts me. And she is breaking her promise to me in the process. I don't think it's a big deal, but I guess it is because it's a big deal for you. Wow, I feel like she thinks there was an apology. This made me feel so small. She initially agreed to marriage counseling. I wanted to see if she'd be proactive about it. 2 weeks and nothing. So, I registered us for a marriage counseling class and told her about it. Great was her sarcastic response. Now she doesn't want to go to counseling together but instead wants us both to do IC while separated. She says it will make us both better parents in the long run. But that is not my chief concern at the moment. She wants this separation time in order to see if OM will work out. Not to work on our marriage, at least not mainly. So, I sat down and typed up an email with my concerns and possible boundaries for the separation and asked for her input. 1. Do we have a no-contact period or do we have scheduled family or date time? She thinks no. Our daughter needs to see us happy and spending time together. 2. Do we have a no physical intimacy rule to clearly separate emotional and physical connection? She says, I don't know. She hasn't been feeling it but might want to tomorrow. 3. Should we have an agreement on who is allowed over during daughter time? I don't want to confuse her with a new place and new faces. We agree that her girlfriend can be over with daughter but that's it. 4. Outside of daughter time, will dating be allowed or forbidden? I have no interest in it but don't want to be controlling. Clear boundaries need to be set. She says, I don't know how I feel about it. On one hand I never want to date again, but on the other I wonder what it might be like. No animosity, no weirdness. 5. We need to set a time frame for the trial in order to prevent perpetual limbo. I think 3 to 6 months. We agree and she mentions possibility of breaking lease early. 6. Can we agree to give each other updates on counseling? If one does it and other doesn't, the separation is a waste of time. She does want open and full disclosure regarding IC progress. 7. Once we agree on boundaries, what happens if one of us crosses them? Put a nail in it or reevaluate. I think respecting agreements is more important in this trial than ever before. She says, mutual concerns are important, but life is fluid. I think if something comes up, we need to analyze it as it happens. Neither of us knows what is going to actually happen in the next 3 to 6 months. Anything could happen. All I know right now is that I have no idea what might happen. I'm of the mind that if she can't follow a separation agreement of less than 10 rules, then what good are any agreements, including marriage? I love you so much that I would lay down in front of a train for you without hesitation. I'd take a bullet for you, but I don't know that I'm still in love, so she would take a bullet for me. But she won't end an innocent friendship with OM. Got another vague text last night that she was going out for a beer after work. I didn't even ask and I'm not going to. I didn't wait up for her. I made myself a comfy bed on the couch and went to sleep. I think I heard her come in around 5 a.m. but didn't bother to check the clock. And to be clear, the only reason I'm going to bed on the couch is if I do go to sleep in the bed. She still crawls in with me and tries to snuggle. Nope, have to work harder than that. I'm not a pillow to be disregarded until she needs a soft spot. To my surprise, she got up this morning and helped see daughter off to school. Then she texted me, we can talk after work, meaning hers. I texted back, if I'm up. My sleep is just as important as yours, and if you really want to talk, you'll make the time. No answer. She went to sleep. We'll see what happens. However, I now understand what I must do if I want to preserve any sense of self-respect that I have. For me, it's a no-brainer. No matter what she has done, I am madly in love with her. But I cannot wait around for a woman that is not in love with me. I have an appointment with a lawyer today and a divorce kit coming in the mail, as well as a copy of No More Mr. Nice Guy. Met with a lawyer yesterday to discuss my options. Hesitant to pull the trigger just yet though, so I set an appointment with an MC today. Wife asked me last night if I have anything to say to her. Told her that her responses to my questions were alarming. I said if she's willing to take a bullet for me, then she should give me an hour of her time to go the MC with me so I can discuss my concerns in a neutral environment with a third-party perspective. She agreed to go with to air our laundry in front of a stranger, leaving in a few minutes. Wish me luck. Not too hopeful, but I need to do this for me before I do anything else. No matter what happens, I plan on continuing to see the counselor. MC session was great for me. Helped me really see how much damage I've done by being emotional unavailable, for which I admitted and apologized. Then MC went on a little spiel about how this causes a wife to feel unloved and enables EAP to happen. He explained to wife about a fair fog and how both parties need to accept responsibility. Trying to get her to open up, and separation would be nail in the coffin because she's already willing to consider dating. And really already is. She was silent through the session but hurried out in tears. I returned the next day for another session. She would not. Helped me see that there is nothing I can do to fix it and it's her responsibility now. Due to the obvious affair. Whether pa or not, she would have to cut off all contact with and change shifts so that we can spend more time together and continue MC. The next day she had another stop off at OM's house to take him beer because he has hurt his back. She did text me to let me know this first. Immediately I explained how I felt rather than holding it in. Told that I don't care about strange men's back and no man would ask a married woman to bring him beer on her way home unless he wanted her. Told her I felt disrespected and disappointed that she would oblige after my concerns about their R were made clear. Having got this off my chest, I was then able to enjoy watching a few comedies. She was completely surprised to come home and find me laughing myself off in front of the TV. We then had an all-night discussion about our marriage, initiated by her. And it's clear she has already checked out. She admitted that she's been contemplating a split for almost 3 years and apologized for not letting me know sooner and said she thought separation was a good idea, not to fix the marriage but to help me ease out of it. So, we are going to try to enjoy Thanksgiving together as a family and focus on how we still care about each other but filing after. She's agreed to let me move out of state with my daughter, closer to my family, so daughter can have support from them that she cannot provide. Oddly, I feel relieved and impressed that she can see that the life she wants at the moment, and the place her head is at, is not the best thing for our daughter. But wow, I'm splitting the account and she can use her own paychecks to pay her rent. She wants new car but she also gets the payments. We've both put into savings so we'll split that. We both put into the house so we've discussed splitting that 3 ways with the other third into a savings to finance child visitation. And then I'm gone with kids. I make more and will take care of kids. She makes less and will take care of herself. She has admitted to lying to me to spend time with him. Promised she wouldn't again and keeps going. Whether they touch each other or not isn't a concern for me any longer. The fact that she is putting their relationship above ours says enough. She could probably change my mind by reversing that back to how it should be. But that's on her to prove. I don't think she believes I'll go through with it. I'm really not interested in watching her any more than I already have with the phone bill. Don't see how it could possibly help. Trying to do all I can to focus on the positive and get through this. If she's given up on us, or more accurately given up on herself and her ability to look inward and work through her problems, then my next best scenario is keeping daughter in a stable environment and having as clean a break as possible. She has agreed to that, so why rock the boat and cause more resentment at this point? I can't fix the R alone, but I can show my daughter that it's possible to end things well, without the animosity that usually comes with a D. If I can get evidence, who do I expose to? Other man is single. DS cut off her family years ago due to abusive childhood, except her sick elderly grandmother, who likes me and has told DS she can't understand why she'd leave me. She has a new girlfriend who works with DS and other man but has already distanced herself from her childhood boyfriend. Then there is my family, who has been like her second family for a decade. She says she's worried because she doesn't want to disappoint everybody on my side. My parents actually wrote her a pretty nice letter telling her she'll always be their daughter. They also asked what was wrong as they thought that she loved me. So why would she want to date others? That did not go over well. She woke me to rant. How dare they accuse her of not loving me, etc. I remained calm and let her get it out. Then went back to bed, trying to stay cool and dark. I've had good friends over for BBQ twice in the last week while she's at work. Went out and got contacts and a pair of new sunglasses. Since she's initiated talks and admitted that her actions have made it impossible for me to trust her at the moment and also impossible to ever see her friend as anything but a threat. Says she wishes me and piece of crap could be friends because we are so similar. I then got her to partially admit that this is exactly why her relationship with him is dangerous. Because she feels a connection to him that is much like her connection to me. She says we're done and let's file after Thanksgiving. At the same time, she agrees to go to MC with me next week. Then walked past the couch I was lying on as she went to bed and told me it's okay if I sleep in the same bed. I did not. It was then morning and I had to stay up with kids. Now she's preparing a turkey feast, making at least one dish specifically for me that I did not request. We had a talk about her betraying my trust, she admits, and she says she wants me to be able to trust her. Told her first step to rebuilding that is I would need her passwords and I offered her mine. Big no. Note this is after she says she is completely done with me and wants to file immediately, and will be looking at places Saturday. I asked why, if nothing to hide. She says that I would misinterpret things like her calling piece of crap cupcake and gave some story about how it's an inside joke. Told her if we are over, then why does it matter? My thoughts are if she's willing to divulge a pet name but still unwilling to share, then it must be tip of the iceberg. I found that she changed her FB password the same day she told me she was considering dating during separation, and stayed out all night. So, I can reset her FB password and get in, but she will know as she'll be locked out. Should I? At this point, thinking I don't have much to lose by upsetting her, she finally admitted that she cheated on me by running to another man for comfort when things got tough, and lied to me to cover it up and keep it going, but absolutely not willing to do anything to set it right. She's given up. Almost every time we have a talk, I uncover another lie. Found out she's pretty much been stalking other man, going to his place at night to take him beer even though he says he doesn't need any, and then telling me she's doing it because he wanted her to. He's began to pull away and doesn't want to talk to her anymore. She was vilifying me and making me sound like big terrible jealous crap that doesn't want her to be her own woman. Wasn't aware that being your own woman meant sleeping wherever you please. He told her he won't be the reason she loses her daughter. The whole next night she was messaging him, begging for him to forgive her because she doesn't want to lose him. No mention of losing me or her daughter. I don't want to lose you because of someone else's insecurities. Mine. Funny, I didn't know that expecting your wife to be honest and faithful was insecure. Thought it just meant being married. Also found out that last summer she was messaging a guy she dated before me, talking about the dreams they'd both been having about each other that were just too good. A lot of pet names, I love you, etc. And she started messaging that guy again as soon as piece of crap started pulling back. I gave her back my wedding band today and have paperwork almost complete. It's apparent this current year was not an isolated incident. So I'm done now too. Hope she enjoys being lonely, because I'm going to have a blast with my daughter. We decided that I should keep the new car and the payments because she won't be able to afford it. I agree as it will free up money for her to use for travel to see her daughter. Then last night she asked me if she could keep the new car after she leaves, until I move out of state, while I keep paying for it. Her reasoning was it would be cheaper on gas to come over and see daughter. I told her it was a little insulting for her to ask. She wants divorce and wants to be an independent woman, so that means paying her own way. I will take daughter to her as often as possible, but I won't pay her to come see her daughter. That's not fair. I've already agreed to waive child support. She blew up and started with the my money bought it argument. I explained that during marriage there is no mine and yours as everything is shared. But after divorce, when assets are split, the only thing we share is daughter. Now I'm a selfish jerk. While today was weird, she was crying from the moment she got up. This was a first. Kept standing in my office doorway expecting me to say something. I just made sure she saw me filling out the papers. She'd walk away and repeat. She cried about me giving back my ring. Asked her why she was shocked. She said, "'Cause now it's getting real." I said, "Yeah, this stack of papers is pretty real too." She was supposed to go get a bank account today and look at apartments. She got up early to do so. She did neither. So, I went out to get an appointment with a child counselor. Something she also said she'd do. She knows we have to get daughter one and break the news to her before STBXW moves out. Staying strong. Woke to 4 emails in a row about how sorry she is for involving me in her messed life and how she needs to save us by letting us go. Told her I agree. Go look for an apartment. Here's the progression since I started this story. He is just a friend. I just fell asleep watching movies. You have nothing to worry about. I only text him for comic relief. He just gets me. I wish you two could be friends. I can talk to him about real stuff because he understands. There's nothing romantic about it. It's not like I cheated on you. I only lied so I wouldn't hurt you. The EA definition only sort of fits. You don't want me to have any friends. You know all there is to know. I won't give up my friend. You and I are done. I cheated on you by running to him for comfort. I've told you everything. Please trust me. Can't you see he's just a friend? Nothing else fits, so I had to wash my outfit. I lied to you because I was afraid you'd hurt me. Nothing happened. I showered because I smelled like a man. I wore his sweater. I didn't want you to get jealous, so I lied. It's not an affair. We just kissed. My grandma told me never to tell. It was an affair. I'm sorry. You'll never trust me again. Over the last couple days since I purchased Not Just Friends and highlighted, flagged the ship out of it and left it for her to read. She quit after 20 to 30 pages and kept waking me up over and over to try and prove me wrong on each little point. I called her BS and kept going back to sleep. I asked if she got to the part about rebuilding trust and said I know she wants me to be able to trust her again, even after we split, as we have to co-parent. Told her she'd have to be completely open with me. She let an inch of the story out each time professing that was it. I kept calling her BS. I've lived with you for 10 years. I know when you're full of shit. Then I let out that the very first time she was out all night I noticed that she washed her clothes, just her outfit from the night before, and showered immediately upon arriving home, both completely off her normal schedule. Been holding that one back since this started. So, for now she claims it was just kissing but was an affair, not just emotional. Still don't believe it's all out in the open. Too convenient how it keeps coming out in baby steps, each just a little worse than the last. And she's still getting the deer in the headlights look when I show a card. Got my papers reviewed by my lawyer today and filing on Monday. The 60 days period should end right before my birthday, Valentine's Day. I'll be going out that night and treating myself, rather than buying someone else gifts on my birthday. There have been some very hard days, nights and extremely heated arguments since I did, but it was definitely worth it. For a few reasons. I have received more truth from her than I would have, which will help me heal faster. Probably not much quicker, but I can see how divorcing with her still adamant that they were just friends would have enabled me to keep emotionally second-guessing what I rationally know to be true. That would have made healing more difficult, but definitely not impossible or even improbable. By exposing I placed my desire for closure above her needs and feelings. which will help me disengage in a healthier manner because I showed myself that it is okay to focus on me, by her admitting things out loud to me, even if I had to pry with a jackhammer. She will also be able to heal quicker, should she choose to do so. She can step out of denial and feel and acknowledge her guilt and shame, rather than continuing to lie to me for years. Adding to the guilt and shame with each lie. Most importantly, all of these things will improve the co-parenting situation in the long run. She actually finished the Not Just Friends book last night and has been apologetic all day. The book has definitely helped too, but I'm certain that she would not have been willing to read it before exposure. We both sat down and broke the news to D6 tonight, together. On the surface she is handling it well, much more focused on what art and toys she'll get to keep at Mom's apartment, and whether or not the place will have a pool. Internalizing feelings as she isn't sure how to communicate them but have child psych for her starting Thursday. STBX moving out in a week, as long as she doesn't keep dragging her feet. But with D6 knowing now she better ducking do it. I can't wait to sleep in a bed again. My back is killing me, now that I am, or at least trying very hard to be, done focusing on her. I have been doing a lot of introspection. I was talking with a colleague in a similar situation and he asked me, what is it about being a designer? Many of us in creative occupations have been through this. 4 out of 5 of my closest colleagues. After some thought, I responded, I think this rather simply explains the role that I played, and what I need to do to prevent myself from repeating the pattern in the future. It seems that by spending most of our waking moments in our own little creative wonderland, we enable those closest to us to see us as out of reach and unappreciative. If only we could focus our design skills and creative energy on effectively communicating the depth of our feelings, we'd be in stronger relationships. Unfortunately, it's often too little too late when we come to realize this, as it takes a shocking event to snap us out of the cloud. I filed today, right before noon on December 12th. Included in the filing was a signed and agreed upon joint custody plan allowing me to move out of state with my daughter after the house sells. I went over it with STBX last night in order to get her signature so the custody agreement could be filed with the petition. It was actually one of the most peaceful evenings that I've had in months. It showed me that I am making progress, and that I still have further to go. I sat on the couch with the papers ready, and she came over and sat down. But there was a huge difference this time. She intentionally sat so close to me that her bent leg was over mine, halfway into my lap. This is the first physical contact we've had in weeks. I won't lie, I was even a bit aroused. But I remained strong, and it didn't really take as much effort as I thought it would. Previously I would have jumped at the chance to scoot closer, to rest my hand on her leg, to lean in. Anything to make it go further, but I didn't. We went over the stack of documents and we had to stop multiple times as she teared up. She cried a little about not being raised in a loving family that my daughter and I would be returning to. She cried a little about knowing I am a strong, attentive parent and will help her daughter thrive. And she expressed gratitude that I wasn't being childish and taking her to the cleaners or getting vindictive. I listened, I validated, but I did not comfort her physically as I have in the past. I didn't rub her back or hold her. I didn't tear up with empathy or wallow in my own sorrow. I returned to the paperwork after each tangent and brought the conversation back to the matter at hand. The divorce papers that would be filed the next day. She got up for more than a couple breaks, snacks, bathroom, and each time sat right back down as she had before, even a little closer. There was no blaming, no anger, no frustration last night. I was calm. We finished reviewing the paperwork. I collected the signed documents, and I got off the couch. She then tried small talk and even joking a bit. I was not unkind or dismissive, but I was tired and didn't find it funny, so I went to bed. I slept well, or as well as my back would allow, on the upstairs couch. Better than I have in weeks. Today after I filed, I changed my FB status from married to it's complicated. I also left a post. What was is over. What will be begins now. Bring it on. I'm ready. This was not for her, even though I know she has been trolling my profile lately. This was for me. I am accepting the situation and letting my family and friends know where I'm at. After I heard her get up, I left my upstairs office and went down to give her copies and the acceptance waiver of service form for her to notarize. She was at the computer crying, though she tried to hide it. I went outside and had lunch in the sun on the patio. I had gone to Subway and for the first time returned home with a 6 sub instead of a foot long for us to split. She still hasn't selected an apartment, but I care less every day. Not because I hope that her staying an extra day or two will give me another chance to convince her to stay longer. Rather because I am where I am and I'm headed somewhere, and a little excited about it. The process has begun no matter how she reacts. It is easier for me to not be angry or devastated just by looking at her, because I am accepting that our love relationship is over and I am making plans for me and Dee Dee. I still get very sad and cry at times, but not around her. She can't comfort me because she is gone, even if still here physically. I'm on my own now and find comfort in knowing that things can only get better from here. I start to see through her manipulative tactics, even if they are unconscious. They are manipulative as hell. She has been trying hard to reel me back in while her words say the opposite. Laying on the perfume thick, too much, dolling herself up, and coming home on time, wearing my button-up shirts around the house, walking around in a towel, just to talk to me about nothing, saying things like damn you smell good, leaving it closer on the computer for me to see, bought me a Christmas gift, something you said you wanted, wearing my winter coat outside, hers fit fine, non-stop small talk, more than ever, calling me over to show me funny stuff on the computer, following me around the house, wants to cook me Xmas dinner, moving out set, wants to stay her Xmas Eve, told her no, wants to keep key to the house, told her no, telling me every detail about her move prep. I get distracted, asking my input on everything. I say it's up to you. I knock and she says come in, as she's stripping to shower, but she knows what I require and is unwilling to. 1. Share passwords. 2. Change shifts. 3. Go to MC together. 4. Prove NC with other man. STBX is going to IC this week, first time ever in our marriage. I continue mine. He's impressed with my progress. D6 is on week 2. Her IC impressed too. I filed her acceptance of service today, starting the 60 days. She finally got it notarized last Friday. She chose an apartment the day I served her and her move-in date is set. She hasn't packed, so I bought boxes today and reserved a moving truck. If she hasn't used any by tomorrow, I'll start filling them myself. I woke to find another email, trying to hash out details of her moving out. STBX informed me that 3 are her work friends that I've never met. Some that I exposed her lies to earlier are willing to help move. She asked, would you like the help loading the truck? They will be there to help unload. I just didn't want to make things even more uncomfortable than they already will be. I'm confident we can move the bed and couch by ourselves. We've done it before. I waited for her to wake and told her that this is her move. She shouldn't be worried about my comfort level as I'll be fine. I told her that I am willing to help, but she needs to let me know if, when, where she wants my help. Also pointed out that she never even asked for my help but instead took my help for granted. Then a weird thing happened. She told me that she assumed I would be helping as I am the one that wanted divorce. She just wanted separation. I remained calm. I pointed out that I originally suggested separation to work on the marriage but pulled it off the table when it was clear she wanted it so she could continue dating something she admitted last week. I reminded her that I had repeatedly told her I do not want divorce and she repeatedly told me, daily, I'm done. She told me to fill out D papers. So, I did. So amazing how warped her thought process is. Not only has she rewritten the history of our marriage, but now she is even rewriting events of the last 2 months in order to make herself believe that she never asked for D. Amazing. My comment. Part 2 coming tomorrow. I am working on it as soon as I grab some food, and I just want to say, I appreciate all of you out there.